Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I'm here with day 25 for Off the Board with Pineapple Papers. And this month, everybody that is following along is pulling a pin from their Pinterest board. And this was something that you could purchase through Etsy. And I just thought that it was really cool, all those circles. And I have these two pictures of my kids. They are working on Christmas toys, and I've decided I'm gonna use the Vicky Booten Warm Wishes. I have the 6x8 paper pad, the puffies, these stickers titled Warm Wishes, and then I have my branding strips, which I don't end up using on this layout. And I pulled a few sheets of paper, and I actually don't even use any of these 12x12 papers, but that's okay. Spoiler alert. So I thought that both of these would reminded me of that pattern. So I thought that I would pull those out. So then, and of course I love a text print, and I always like to have something like these cut aparts. So I have this solid white paper that I plan on doing using as my background. And I pulled this Warm Wishes stencil out. I'm not going to use the snowflakes, but I do want to use these little circles or polka dots, or I'm sure that they're meant to be like little snow droplings or whatever. But so I have my papers. I have my embellishments. I have the branding strips. I have my pictures. And I have this cool pin from Pinterest. So let's see how this goes. So I get this down, and I'm sorry that it's so low because you're only going to see part of this. I sat and stared at this blank paper with the stencil taped down and tried to decide what I wanted to do. If I was going to ink through it, if I was going to spray through it. I have some new Brutus Monroe Chroma Mist I thought I might use. I thought, and finally I decided I was going to get out my stickles. And I was going to push those with a palette knife through the stencil and make little gold dots, because the inspiration piece has gold circles in that little hanging contraption. The decoration's probably something you hang like in the doorway or something. So I am going to end up showing you. I just move the part of the stencil down that has just the little dots and not the snowflakes, because I definitely didn't want those on there. So I will show you the final outcome. And but first I'm decided I'm not going to waste the stickles that I have left. So I take this black piece of matte stack paper and push through whatever gold stickles I have left. Now look how cool that is. Now, my plan is to use that as a background piece for my picture. I forget. But look at that. Isn't that cool? I love how it turned out. So I decided, and since I used the top part of that paper, and it has the little gold dots, I'm just going to fussy cut I almost said elements, the ornaments out of this 6x8 paper pad, because I felt like it would be enough of them. Now, there are some on there that are like a teal color. I do not use those. Just the green, the blue, even that lime green is okay. And the red, no blue. Did I just say blue? The reds, the green, and then that one yellow one. And so what I've decided to do is, where I had to leave a gap between where I moved the stencil because I didn't want it to smush the ones I had just done, I'm going to use these ornaments to kind of fill in that gap. So I take one of the ornaments that's just the bottom of an ornament, and I'm going to put that at the very top. And then I am going to put these other ornaments down, kind of alternating between red and green, and then and just getting a little bit smaller. Not necessarily, obviously you can tell that red one is smaller than the green below it, but for the most part it's going larger to smaller. And I love the way that this turns out, you all. It was so fun. And I have really enjoyed pushing, doing things with stencils, because I never really was comfortable using a stencil, and I'm still not great at it. But that's okay. And I didn't mind that there were some of those little dots that were like partial circles, because I think that's cool. It's almost like an empty, or like a, like I just did an intentional circle of gold instead of a full polka dot. So I love the way that that turned out. And so I am just continuing down. And then I had another one of the ornaments that was cut off at the bottom. So I just tucked that in at the bottom. And here's where I would have, if I had remembered, brought that gold paper in. But it was sitting over to the side to dry. And so I went to find paper to map my picture on. And I selected this one for a couple of reasons. One, we're going with the whole polka dot circle theme. And also because the back of this paper is not one that I would probably want to use. So that makes me happy when the paper on the back, see, it was a big wreath and that's just not my thing. The paper on the back of a really pretty paper is not so pretty. A lot of times it's the really pretty papers that have the pretty stuff on the other side, and then I'm like torn between what I'm going to do. So I get this picture down, and this is pictures of my kids, and it is a tradition in my family. My dad used to sit right where my daughter is sitting, and he would pull all the Christmas decorations out. He'd have the kids come and help. This is right after Thanksgiving. And they would get all of these singing, talking, animated toys, and they would take the batteries out or check the batteries or put the batteries in. Normally he stored them without them, and he would get them ready for the year. And so Katie took over the job after my dad died. And so her and Jameson are sitting there, and they are trying to check and see what toys are still working. And some of those toys I have lots and lots of fabulous memories of. So favorite things is definitely a very fitting title for this layout. So I just take those, and those are from the Warm Wishes collection. I thought I'd use gold, but I thought right there by that gold that the black would look better. Plus the phrase, the title. So then I take these little dots that are all over this collection, and I just alternate them back and forth and put them down where the ornaments are kind of falling in both of those little lines. So this layout makes me happy, you all. And I didn't even use a full paper from the Vicky Boutin collection. I mean, I cut something out of the cut apart, but that's it. And I pull these three little words actually, from the puffy stickers. One says memories, this one right here I'm putting down. One of them says toys, this little one here, and then the other one I think says remember. And I thought that was very fitting, considering, like I said, it's like she's taking up the tradition of getting these things ready. And then I cut this piece right here out of the cut apart, and I thought it was really neat looking. It helps fill this gap. It also helps fill that gap where I did not come all the way down with the ornaments on that other line, on the other little cascading part. And so I'm going to use that for my journaling, and just write something about how, per tradition, Katie and Jameson are checking all the toys and making sure that, they work or have batteries or whatever. I don't know exactly what I wrote, but something along those lines. And then after I get done with that, I'm going to show you all the close-up of the pin. And I think this is so cool. I think actually hanging little circles and putting a line between them like that would be uber, uber adorable. And I will have to think about doing that in the future. And here's the close-ups. Look at that shiny gold stickle. See, some of those are not completely filled in. Some of them are. Some of them are partial circles. I really do love the way that turned out. And that stickles dried really fast. I did not expect that. So I hope you all will check out the people who are following the Off the Board with Pineapple Papers. We only have a few more days left this month, which I cannot believe. And I hope you all will come back and check out tomorrow. Will be Stash Dive Tuesday, as well as Off the Board with Pineapple Papers. So I hope that you will come and see me then. Have a fantastic day, and I hope you all get a chance to do something you love with someone you love. Happy scrapping.